Okay, YouTube, we're gonna go ahead and get our vegetables cut up to make this cheesy beef and macaroni. Got one white onion and one red onion here. We're gonna cut them up real small and get them into the bowl. And then we're gonna go ahead and show you how we cook them down and add them to the beef and all that stuff. So stick around, watch me cut them up, and I'll be right back. Just remember, I'm not trying to bore y'all with this. I just want everybody to see how I do it and how diligent I am with my work. That's right, YouTube. Man, that's good barbecue. Today we're making cheesy macaroni or cheesy beefaroni, however you want to pronounce it. But we're going to go ahead and keep getting these onions pretty much cut pretty small. I like to cut them up pretty small, but you can make them as big or as small as you like to make them. Excuse me. But either way, use a real sharp knife, because you know when you use a sharp knife with onions, it don't attack your eyes so bad. When you use a dull knife, all that stuff pop off the onions and it get into your eyes and it make you cry. But here we go. Y'all stick and stay. Don't go nowhere. Don't change that YouTube channel. Ta-da! All right, we got our macaroni, elbow macaroni, in a pot of water, which I added a little salt to it and a little bit of vegetable oil to keep them from sticking. So I'm going to show y'all how I cook them so they don't stick together. A little bit of salt right here. And you got to keep coming back and stirring it around. You can't stir it too much. You got to keep coming back, stirring it around, make sure it's not sticking to the bottom, make sure it's not sticking together, and just make sure everything cooking up real nice and smooth. So don't leave, I'm coming right back. Here we go again. We're going to stir and stir until we get them done. You don't want to have a lot of water left over where you have to pour them off and drain it. If you put just the right amount of water, you could cook it until the water cook off and everything will come out perfectly. One more time around right here. Stir it up a little bit, make sure it's not sticking. Y'all see the technique with the spatula? A lot of people can't do it like me. And right here, we're coming right back into it. And as you can see, most of the water has already cooked out of it. I just got a little bit in the bottom and I'm gonna keep stirring. At this point, you wanna stir it up a lot so that water can go ahead. You can see it steaming off. So that water could go ahead and steam off the bottom and you don't have to pour them in a colander and rinse them and all that stuff. You could just be able to put them to the side and let them chill out until you get ready to come back to them. There's that world famous technique again. It's all in the forearm and the way you hold the spatula. See? Swish. Swish. See how I do that? Stir it up. Let the water evaporate. It's not hard. Man, that's good barbecue right here in the kitchen. For those of you who are just tuning in, we're making cheesy, and I mean cheesy beefaroni or beefaroni or beef and macaroni. However y'all want to refer to it. Okay, we just about got all the water cooked out of it. So I think what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna put a lid on it. I'm gonna move it to the side so I can go ahead and start making my ground beef. Go ahead and get it all nice and browned up the way I want it. Okay, got my frying pan here. Y'all just watch now, don't tell me up in the comments. It's a method to the madness. Got my ground beef right here, I'm gonna cut it open, dump it in there, and start browning it. Like I said, it's not hard, anybody could do this. It's a real delicious recipe. And you could throw this together and you could cook for 8, 9, 10 people, maybe even more. But it's a nice little meal. Going in with the ground beef. So I'm gonna go ahead and chop it up, mix it up, do what I got to do to get it nicely little fine pieces. You know, you want to make it like you're making chili. You don't want it to cook flat and be like a burger. So you got to keep chopping it up, stirring it up. I'm gonna show y'all along the way, but just take notes and watch how I do it. time to stir it up. It's getting a little brown on the bottom, so you want to keep moving it. Make sure your temperature's right. Keep moving it around, stirring in it, mixing it. You don't want it to stick to the bottom, and you don't want big chunks like meatballs. So the more you stir it, the better it's going to come out. See here where I'm chopping? That's what you want to do. Okay, it's looking real good now. It's just about ready. I'm just gonna keep on chopping it down because I want it to be crumbled up as much as I can get it crumbled up. Not too much, but like I said, you don't want it to be the size of no meatballs inside your beefaroni. Once I get this done, then I can go ahead and get my onions that I cut up earlier. I can go ahead and sweat them down, let them get a little translucent. Then I can mix them in, mix the beef back in with the onions, and mix all that up together. Just stand by, keep watching. Now, you see how I'm taking the ground beef and I'm pushing it all to one side? That's because I'm letting the oil and all the moisture drain over to the other side, and I can easily get the ground beef out and don't have all the oil mixed in there with it. So now I got the ground beef out. I'm going in with my vegetables. I'm gonna go ahead and stir fry them or sweat them down or let them turn a little translucent, and then I'm gonna add the beef right back to the pot. You don't want to cook them till they turn brown. You just want to heat them up and get them a little bit soft, because when you add your ground beef back, mix everything up, it's gonna keep cooking. So you don't want to overcook your vegetables. You want them to allow enough time so they could cook through the process. So it's basically just a whole lot of stirring at this point. Once we get past all the stirring and mix it down to one product, then it'll get a whole lot easier. Then you play the waiting game. As y'all can see, I had a problem with my sound on this video and nothing came out good, so I had to do a voiceover for you guys so it would all make sense. I didn't want to just put a video up here with no sound and then you'll be looking at it like, what in the world is this guy doing? But thank God for technology. It's beautiful when it works. Now I'm just mixing the noodles up a little more, make sure they're not stuck together. See how the vegetables done sweated down? Now I'm gonna get ready to go ahead and I'm gonna add my ground beef to it. and mix it all together. Make sure it's mixed up real good, so you have red and white onions all throughout the mixture. This is the part where the house starts to smell like a restaurant. Man, I wish y'all could smell it. Cheesy beefaroni. Right here with Man That's Good Barbecue. So basically, I'm gonna go ahead and mix this all together. Like I told you, it's a whole lot of stirring in this recipe. That's the hardest part about it. But I'm gonna go ahead and mix it all together so it all could cook at the same time. The beef could go ahead and get all the way done. The vegetables could go ahead and cook a little bit more. But just stick around and watch how I do it. Okay, that looks pretty good. Make sure your temperature's right. I'm gonna go ahead and start getting ready to add my ingredients in. So I'm gonna start out with a little minced garlic. Garlic seems to make everything taste good. It's kind of tight. Okay, I got it. I'm going in with about 2 tablespoons. I'm using a teaspoon, but it's a healthy teaspoon. So I'm gonna say 2 tablespoons of minced garlic. Got to season your food. Okay, mix that in just a little bit. Just want to mix your garlic up to where you can't see it. Once you mix it up where you can't see it anymore, then there's no chance of burning it. Like I said, keep your temperature down a little bit. Now we're going to add a little bit of Worcestershire sauce. Everybody pronounce it different. I heard somebody say wash your sister sauce. Okay. Now see my homemade sauce right here. I just made this, so y'all watch how I do it. My homemade ragu. Actually, it's spaghetti sauce, but it's got a good flavor. Got a good flavor to it. Go ahead and get that whole jar in there. It's starting to come together now. Excuse me. It's looking real good to me, y'all. Like I said, it smells immaculate. You have to keep it moving, because this stuff, once it heat up, it will pop, and it'll pop all over you, so you got to be careful with it. I'll be right back. Okay. We'll go ahead and stir these noodles a little bit more. Get them all separated and broken down real good before I go ahead and add the meat and the sauce into it. And y'all saw my other seasoning. I had some garlic powder, some onion powder. I put a little bit of complete seasoning in it, just for flavor. It's best to do all your seasoning while you got your meat cooking. That way you don't have to try to mix the whole pot all together to get all the seasoning incorporated through the whole thing. I guess I could have just picked up the pot and dumped it in, but I didn't want to make a mess on camera and didn't have to end up going ahead and recording it all over again. So I'm playing it the safe way, y'all. Hope this video not boring you too much. Like I said, I got to run a voiceover because silly me, I made a real amateur mistake on my sound and it didn't come out like it was supposed to. But I can still get my point across. Y'all know this man, that's good barbecue over here on this side. And we making what? Cheesy beef and macaroni. gonna go ahead and get the whole pot mixed together, get it all incorporated. We're almost home now. Okay, that's looking good to me. Everything all mixed up together. Y'all can't tell me I'm not a professional. Keep the outside of your pots clean. That stuff will burn to your pot. Be hard to wash when you get ready to wash your dishes. But we're gonna get ready now to transfer it into our baking dish. And this is where the magic happens. So pay close attention to what we're doing here. You can take your baking dish and spray a little bit of Pam or some type of oil in it so it don't have a chance of sticking. And you do that, make sure you do that before you go ahead and put all your ingredients in the dish. So the way I'm doing it, I got people here that don't like a lot of cheese. So some of it I'm gonna bake with the cheese, and some of it I'm gonna leave regular, so that way they don't have to deal with the cheese and the lactose and all that kind of stuff. You gotta remember who you're cooking for. So I'm gonna put about a quarter of it in. As you can see, tap it down, try to get it as level as you can. Now you can go ahead and grab your mozzarella cheese. That's the one that I put in the middle, in between the two layers. And this is the mozzarella with the cream cheese in it, because you want to get a nice creamy melt. So when you go to serve it, that's where you get that pull. When you see the cheese that pull like it don't want to break, this mozzarella with the cream cheese is good for that. And it has a great taste to it. So you can go ahead and put as much mozzarella cheese as you like. I always like to put a lot of it, then I save a little bit to put on the top with the other cheese. Now that I got that big thick layer of mozzarella cheese in there, I'll go ahead and top it off with about another quarter of my beef and macaroni. Just get the mozzarella cheese covered up real good. So once you put it in the oven and bake, it's gonna melt all the way through. So the mozzarella will go down near the bottom, and then the cheese you got it put on the top is gonna go down near the middle. So the whole thing will be incorporated with cheese and it'll be nice. That's why I call it cheesy. And I emphasize cheesy beef and macaroni, or cheesy beefaroni. I know coming up when we were small, we called it beefaroni. So go ahead and put your nice layer on top of the mozzarella. You can go pretty high with it if you want, because once the cheese get on top and it starts to melt, it's pretty much gonna just lock it in. You really don't have to worry about it running over and coming out and all that stuff. Okay, we're ready to go ahead and top it off now. What I like to do is save a little bit of the mozzarella, like I said, and sprinkle it on across the top. And I use the Mexican blend on the top. That's that shredded cheese, and as they call it, the Mexican blend. You can use cheddar cheese, sharp cheddar cheese, whatever you like, whatever fits your taste. I hope y'all try this recipe. If you do, let me know in the comments. I'm telling you, it'll be a hit if you make it. make sure the whole top is covered. Pat it down a little bit, make sure it's good and locked in. Looks good to me. Now you're gonna get ready to put it in your oven. You preheat your oven at about 350, 400. Either somewhere in between there. Between 350 and 400 is good. So you put them in the oven. Getting ready to go ahead and put them to sleep. Cheesy beef and macaroni. All right, it's been about 35, 40 minutes. Now we're gonna go ahead and take it out and let you see what it looked like. If I can get the rack to pull out of the stove. Let me grab another mitt. Make sure I don't burn my hands. This glass seems to get a little bit hotter than the metal pans, but you wouldn't want to grab a metal pan either. Okay, she coming out. Careful, don't burn yourself. There you go, YouTube. We'll give you a little closer look at it. And here we have it. Cheesy beef and macaroni, or cheesy beefaroni. We served it up with a little bit of salad on the side. And that's what we got, y'all.